Very good morning, students.
Good morning.
Welcome to English class. So, you're back after Deepavali, 3 days of Deepavali. Did you enjoy your holidays? Good. Did you burst crackers? I hope you all had an eco-friendly Deepavali. You lit lamps and didn't burst too many crackers. Is that right? That's very nice. So, you're ready for English class, students? Today, you're going to learn about a very interesting aspect in writing. You are going to learn how to write a dialogue. You all know what a dialogue is, students. We always talk to each other. You talk to your friends, you talk to your teachers, you talk to your parents at home, you talk to your brothers and sisters. Every time you talk, it's called a dialogue. So you know how to speak a dialogue. Today, in today's class, you'll learn how to write a dialogue. Shall we start the class? Before we begin, I have a small quote for you. You know that every class I like to start with a quote. So what is today's quote, students? Can you read it? Speech is silver, silence is golden. Speech is silver, silence is gold. What does that mean? That means one shouldn't speak unnecessarily. Speech is very important. You have to speak, but only when it is required, and only what must be spoken, not unnecessary. So silence, in many situations, silence can speak more clearly than words. Silence can be more effective. So silence sometimes is more valuable. That is what this quote is saying. Gold is more valuable than silver. You all know that, students. So here silence is compared to gold and speech is compared to silver. Although it's valuable, in many situations silence is more valuable than speech. So that's the thought for the day, for today. Shall we begin the class? So students, what do you see on screen?
Ma'am, I can see two persons standing.
Yeah,
Chang and
right,
Lee.
right.
And I can also see something falling. Is it rain, ma'am?
Is that rain, students? What can you see on screen? Something is falling. Very good. I hear a lot of students saying it's snow. So Shrestha, that is snow.
Okay, ma'am.
You can see it's snowing.
Yes.
Like how we say it's raining, students, in very cold regions, you know that it snows. So it's snowing. You can see Chang and Lee, they're standing there. Now students, this scene, we have created this scene for you to understand what a dialogue is. I have taken a few details from your lesson. Do you remember your lesson, The Bird of Happiness?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm sure you all do. So there, what happens in that lesson, students? Can you tell me? Yes, please try and tell me. Form a few sentences in English, come on. The lesson is about who?
Ma'am, Wangjia.
Yes, the hero in that lesson is Wangjia, that courageous boy. What does he do?
Ma'am, he goes in search of the bird of
Happiness. So he goes in search of the bird of happiness. How is his journey, students? His journey is very good, full of hardship and struggle. He struggles a lot. He fights with the three monsters. You remember that? So before he leaves the village, he is given a traditional send-off by the people of his village. So now this scene that you are seeing on screen today, this happens just before he leaves the village. So here we have a dialogue between Chang and Lee. So they both are talking to each other. It's called a dialogue. Let's see what they say to each other. Hey Lee, how are you? It's been a while since I met you.
Hello, Chang. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine too, but I'm a little upset.
Oh, why is that?
My little son has been crying since last night. He's hungry. There's no food at home.
The situation is the same in all our houses, isn't it? Just yesterday, My old mother almost fainted because of the cold. We don't even have money to buy some woolen blankets.
Oh God, what should we do? Is there a solution to all our problems?
Yes, I think the village head has decided to send Wangjia in search of the bird of happiness.
Oh, that's great news. Wangjia is a courageous and determined boy. I'm sure he'll bring us happiness. Let's have a little patience.
Yes, God will definitely bless us with happiness.
So students, before we move on to the questions, let's look at this dialogue once again. So listen carefully. I'm going to ask you a few questions on this dialogue. So we start again. Students, please listen carefully. Hey Lee, how are you? It's been a while since I met you.
Hello Chang, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine too, but I'm a little upset.
Oh, why is that?
My little son has been crying since last night. He's hungry. There's no food at home.
The situation is the same in all our houses, isn't it? Just yesterday, my old mother almost fainted because of the cold. We don't even have money to buy some woolen blankets.
Dear God, what should we do? Is there a solution to all our problems?
Yes, I think the village head has decided to send Wangjia in search of the bird of happiness.
Oh, that's great news. Wangjia is a courageous and determined boy. I'm sure he'll bring us happiness. Let's have a little patience.
Yes, God will definitely bless us with happiness.
So students, you listen to the dialogue a second time. I'm sure you remember what happens now in the dialogue. Now I'm going to ask you some questions. Let's look at the questions now. Why is Chang upset? Can you tell me, students? Yes?
Ma'am, because his son is crying.
Okay, Chang's son is crying.
Yes.
Why is he crying?
Because he is hungry.
Yeah, there was no food at home. You remember that? So Chang's son is hungry. He's a little boy. He's hungry and so he's crying. And so Chang is upset. So Chang is upset because his son is crying as he is hungry. Let's look at the next question now. What happened to Lee's mother?
Ma'am, she fainted.
Yeah, I can see students there. They're also saying the same thing. Lee's mother fainted. Why, students? Why did Lee's mother faint?
Ma'am, cold.
Because of the extreme cold. You know, you saw the background there, students. Such a cold region. So because of the extreme cold, Lee's mother almost fainted. So Lee's mother almost fainted because of the cold weather. Who decided to send Wangjia in search of the bird of happiness?
Ma'am, ma'am, village head?
Yeah, the village head decided to send Wangjia. So look at the answer, students. The village head decided to send Wangjia in search of the bird of happiness. So these are very simple questions that I asked you about the dialogue. Shall we move on now? So, now you listened to the dialogue, you saw how two people spoke to each other. I called it a dialogue and I told you when you talk to somebody it's called a dialogue. So what do you think a dialogue is? How does it help us? Yes, very good. A dialogue helps us to talk to each other. So a dialogue helps us in our communication. Right, students? A dialogue helps us in our communication. When you talk to each other, when you're passing ideas and when you're exchanging ideas, it's called communication. So a dialogue helps us in our communication. But first of all, you need to learn how to write a dialogue. So let's see what a dialogue is. Shall we?
Yes, ma'am.
So, a dialogue is a talk between two people. What is that, students?
A dialogue is a talk between two people.
Now it can be two groups of people also. I told you, when you're talking to your friends, you may be talking in two groups. So even that is a dialogue. When your teacher talks to you, now I am talking to you. This is also a dialogue. When you talk to your teacher, that also is a dialogue. So do you understand that, students? A dialogue is a talk between two groups basically. A dialogue, how is it useful, students? We just saw how the dialogue is useful. It helps us to exchange ideas, right? So a dialogue is useful to gain command over spoken English. So you must already be aware that spoken English is a little different from written English, like any other language. Even in Kannada, when you speak Kannada, it's quite different from what is written in the textbook and in your notebook. So similarly, even in English, spoken English is different from written English. So when we are having a dialogue, we use more spoken English. So we'll see some more features of a dialogue. Okay? And how does a dialogue help us? Very good. It helps us to express our thoughts in simple sentences. We don't have to have huge sentences in a dialogue. When you're talking to each other, I'm sure you've done it already. You use simple sentences, short sentences. Right? So let's look at these points once again. What is a dialogue, students? A dialogue, yes,
It's a talk between two people
or two groups of people.
Two groups of people.
Next, a dialogue
Is useful to gain command over spoken English.
I told you spoken English is a little different from what we write. And what's the third point?
It helps us to express our thoughts in simple sentences.
So keeping this in mind, let's see how we write a dialogue. So for your convenience, students, because you're all still small children, we are going to give you some steps to write a dialogue. Let's see what those steps are. Every dialogue must have a greeting. That means a good beginning. I'm sure you know when you meet somebody, when you meet your friend outside your house, how do you start the dialogue? You say, hi, hello. Don't you do that? That's greeting. That's a beginning. So every dialogue must have a greeting. That is a good beginning. Normally, a dialogue is full of incomplete sentences, short forms, question tags wherever necessary, and discourse markers. Let me read that once again, students. Normally, dialogues will be full of incomplete sentences, short forms, question tags wherever necessary, and discourse markers. Now, what are all these? Incomplete sentences, you know. When we are speaking, we normally don't speak the entire sentence, right? We say something like, when somebody asks you, where are you going? Do you say, I am going to the temple? No, that's quite artificial. When somebody says, where are you going? What do you say?
Temple.
Temple. So see, that's an incomplete sentence. To the temple. That's an incomplete sentence. It's perfectly okay to say that in a dialogue. In an exam, when you're writing an answer, that is wrong, students. But in a dialogue, such a sentence is allowed. So that's an incomplete sentence. What's a short form? Short form is something like this. Am. You've learned this. Where. These are all called short forms. Am is a short form for I am. Where is a short form for we are. So in a dialogue, you don't have to say these words exactly as they are. We are or I am. No, not necessary. Or something like I'll. So see, this is a short form for I will. So during when you're having a dialogue, you don't have to say I will. You can say I'll come tomorrow. Don't you say that? Yeah. So this is a short form, I'll. Am is a short form. Where is a short form. Okay, children? Next we move on to question tags. What's a question tag? Yeah, question tag is something like this. Shall we? Did you? So, I'm sure you're aware of this. Question tags are used at the end of a sentence. You did your homework, didn't you? Have you heard that sentence before?
Yes.
Yeah. You did your homework, didn't you? So, didn't you is at the end of the sentence. That's called a question tag. A question tag is not a real question, students. A question tag is only asked to reconfirm something. You did your homework, didn't you? So, didn't you is a question tag. So, question tags are used in a dialogue but only where necessary, not everywhere. And the last one is discourse markers. What's a discourse marker? Yeah, in a dialogue, do you know? You heard some words here in the dialogue. Some words like, you remember that? Or, oh, that's great news. You remember? So, oh is a discourse marker. Is a discourse marker. Sometimes we say, well, I'm not sure. So, well is a discourse marker. So, these discourse markers are nothing but some words which we use to express our emotions in a dialogue. Alright? So, we'll go on to the next now. Every dialogue must have a good ending. So, once you've spoken to somebody, you finished all your whatever matter is to be discussed or spoken, you must end it well. Every dialogue must end well. You remember I told you, you meet your friend and you say hi and speak to him. Do you go away without saying bye? No, you shouldn't. You should say bye, see you tomorrow or something like that. End it properly and then that's the ending of the dialogue. Did you understand this, students? So, when you write a dialogue, I'm going to be giving you an assignment to write a dialogue. So, when you write that dialogue, you must remember these points. What are these points? Every dialogue must have a greeting. And it must be full of incomplete sentences, short forms, question tags, discourse markers. And every dialogue must have a good ending. Is that clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So now you know the steps to write a dialogue. You have an idea now. Let's look at one more dialogue. Now what do you see on screen?
Ma'am, two ladies
Two
standing.
ladies standing. Right? What's one lady wearing? What are their names, students?
Ma'am, Shalini and Rekha.
Shalini and Rekha. What is Rekha wearing?
Ma'am, she is wearing a sari.
Yeah, students, I want you to make sentences and tell me the answers. Make short sentences, okay? But I want you to speak in English. What's Rekha wearing?
Rekha is wearing a sari.
Sari. So, Rekha is wearing a sari. What's Shalini wearing?
She is wearing churidar.
Yes, a churidar or a salwar kameez. Right? What are they having in their on their shoulders, children?
They are
Carrying bags or a purse. Yeah.
bags.
Right. They're carrying a bag or a purse. And they're standing in front of
A house.
a house. So this is the scene. Shalini and Rekha, they're standing in front of a house. Now let's see what they talk to each other. I'll take the role of Shalini, students.
I take the role of Rekha.
Rekha. So hello Rekha, where are you going so early in the morning? Anything special at home?
Hello Shalini. We are expecting some guests today. We need vegetables and fruits.
May I join you?
Certainly. Let's go. Are you on your way to the market?
Yes. It's a pleasant coincidence, isn't it?
Yes, that's true. What do you want to buy?
I have to buy some books and pencils for my son.
Oh, let's walk a little faster, shall we? I need to get back home in an hour.
So students, you looked at both the ladies, Shalini and Rekha, talking to each other. Let's go through this dialogue once again. I'll read it. We both will read it for you. Please listen carefully. Hello Rekha, where are you going so early in the morning? Anything special at home?
Hello Shalini, we are expecting some guests today. We need vegetables and fruits.
May I join you?
Certainly, let's go. Are you on your way to the market?
Yes, it's a pleasant coincidence, isn't it?
Yes, that's true. What do you want to buy?
I have to buy some books and pencils for my son.
Oh, let's walk a little faster, shall we? I need to get back home in an hour.
So students, this is the dialogue that you listen to now. And you can see the dialogue, you can see the words on the screen also. Now here, you can see some words that are highlighted. Hello Rekha, hello Shalini. What are these words? Now, remember what I taught you about the dialogue earlier? Right. So what are these words? These words are the greeting in a dialogue. Okay. And then of course the rest of it, the main matter in the dialogue is there. Now in the matter, let's see, some more words are highlighted. Let's go. So let's hear. What is it, students?
Ma'am, short forms.
Very good. Let's is a short form. Can you tell me, students, what is the correct, what are the two words that are used there?
Two people are there, so let us go.
Yeah, very nice. So you see, let us are the two words, but we don't speak like this, do we? No, we don't, children. We say let's go. We don't say let us go. That's the textbook language. When we speak, we don't use the words like that. We use the words slightly differently. So let's go. Let us becomes let's. So that's a short form. What's this? Isn't it? Yes, it's a pleasant coincidence, isn't it? Very good. Isn't it is a question tag. Very good. So isn't it is a question tag. Look at the next word. That's true. What is this? That's true. That's
true. Yes, that's true. Ma'am, that is true.
Very good. So here again, that and is. These two words are joined together and the short form is that's. That's true. Did you understand, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's look at the next one. I have to buy some books. What is that? What you normally do that, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
When you're talking to each other. I don't think so. Don't you say that, students?
Yes, ma'am.
So, here means, yeah, you're thinking.
Yes.
You're showing your emotion there. So, in a dialogue, such an expression is called a discourse marker. A discourse marker. You don't need to know the name, students, but you need to know where to put it in a dialogue. Oh, can you see this? Oh, yeah, they both are called discourse markers. That means some words used to express our emotions. Let's again. Let's is a short form. Let us again. Shall we? Shall we is a question tag. So you saw in this dialogue, students, how the many parts that I talked to you about, all of them are used here. Plus, there are some more things here which you can point out. See, some more short forms are there. Some more words which can be made into short forms. Can you tell me?
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, Rekha.
Yes, when Rekha speaks.
Yes. Hello, Shalini.
Yes.
We are expecting some guests today. Ma'am, can we use we and then one apostrophe and re?
Very good. Absolutely right. So this we are can become we're. We are expecting some guests today. So normally you speak like that, don't you, students? You don't say we are expecting some guests today, right? So we are can become we're.
Okay.
Very good. I see some students saying the answers. That's very nice. Any other thing there? Students, can you look at any other words which can be made into short forms?
No.
Yes, I can see something. Yeah?
Ma'am, Shalini.
Yes, that's very
Yes.
nice.
Yes, it's
It is a pleasant coincidence.
because next sentence that is becomes
That's. So it is can become
it's.
its. Its. Okay, students?
Mm.
Yes, it's a pleasant coincidence. So again, it is can become a short form. And the next sentence where Shalini speaks next, see, I have. What can I have become, students?
Ma'am, I apostrophe
I apostrophe
and
VE.
yes.
Have to buy some books. Don't you say that? You don't go around saying I have to buy some books. No, that's not the way English is spoken.
Excuse me.
When you speak, you have to say I have to buy some books and pencils. Okay? So did you understand all the students?
Yes.
How a dialogue is written? What are the features of a dialogue? All right? Shall we move on now?
Yes.
Okay. Now you've already listened to 2 dialogues. This is a third one. Let's see what happens here. Now here you're going to write a dialogue. You're going to write along with me. I'll give you the dialogue, but you're also going to try and write it. Okay, do you have your notebook and pens ready, students? Yeah? Come on. Let's look at this dialogue. What can you see here?
Ma'am, one temple.
Yes, there's a temple in the background and you can see
No,
2
ma'am,
people.
Yes.
Yes,
One
one man and a girl. Yeah, did you make your sentences and tell me the answers, students?
Ma'am,
Very good.
Yes.
Yes.
There is a temple.
Yes, there's a temple in the background.
One man and one girl is standing
are
in
standing
front,
in
are
front of the
standing in front of the temple.
Temple. One man and a girl are standing in front of the temple.
Yes.
Now shall we see what they speak to each other?
Yes.
Come on, let's see what they speak. So here's the temple. Here are the 2 people, Uncle and Malini. So I'm going to speak as Malini and Shrishta is going to speak as Uncle. So now students, keep your books ready. You are going to write the dialogue along with me. So the first point is already shown to you. Will you start? Ready? Yes, students, be ready. So first, Malini says, hello uncle. What do you think happens next?
Ma'am, uncle will say, hello Malini.
Is that right, students? Yes, uncle
Hello,
says,
Malini.
hello Malini.
Hello Malini, what are you doing here?
So students, even if you have written just hello Malini, that's perfect. That means you know how the dialogue is going to start. Very good. So now uncle says, hello Malini, what are you doing here? I've come to see this temple. Is this the ancient temple you were talking about? So Malini says, I've come to see this temple. Is this the ancient temple you were talking about? What do you think uncle's response will be?
Yes, this is the temple.
Yeah, children, write something. Please write. It can be anything. It can be yes, this is the temple, or it can be no, this isn't the temple. The dialogue can move in whatever way. So I want you to write the response. Have you written it? That's very nice. Shall we see what I have written now? Yeah, ready for it?
Yes.
Okay.
No, this isn't the one. Malini, this temple was built just 10 years ago.
So uncle says, oh no, this isn't the one, Malini. This temple was built just 10 years ago. So let's see what Malini says now. What do you think Malini says? Continue the dialogue, students. You can write the dialogue. When uncle says this isn't the one, this temple was built just 10 years ago. What do you think Malini would say?
Oh, is
imagine.
it?
Ah, because she asked him, is this the ancient temple? She's asked him. So now what would she say? She would say,
Oh, is it?
Really, is it?
Is it?
Won't she say
Really?
that? Yeah, very good students. What does she say? She says, really? The Gopuram looks really old. So that's why I thought it was the ancient temple. The Gopuram looks really old. It's beautiful. So that's what Malini says. Very good. I see students writing. That's very nice. So now Malini says, Really? Oh, I thought this is the ancient temple because the Gopuram looks really old. It's beautiful. What happens next? Write the next dialogue. Yeah, students, write what uncle says.
That's true.
It's a beautiful Gopuram.
It's a beautiful Gopuram.
Right, students? Did you write that? Did you write something on your own? Yes, please write on your own. And please write in correct English. That's very nice. So let's see what uncle says now.
Yes, let's go in. I hear someone singing.
So uncle says, yes, let's go in. I hear someone singing. So somebody is singing inside the temple. So what do you think Malini says? Let's go in. I hear someone singing. What do you think Malini says? Very good. Write it down, students. Write down Malini's dialogue. That's nice. Yes. So Malini says, it's melodious, isn't it? So when uncle says, I hear someone singing, so automatically you would say that, wouldn't you? You would say, oh, it's melodious. A song is always melodious, students. Melodious means very nice, pleasant to hear. So Malini says, it's melodious, isn't it? Now, this is the dialogue that you saw between Malini and uncle. Now, this dialogue has been broken down into its parts. So, you can see here, there's a greeting, there's the main content, and there's an ending in the dialogue. These are the 3 points that I told you about. Every dialogue must have a greeting. So, see students, the greeting is here. Malini says, hello uncle. Uncle says, hello Malini, what are you doing here? Now you have the main content, what they actually speak about. Malini and uncle speak to each other. That's the main content. Look at the ending. How is the ending here? Uncle says, yes, come on, let's go inside. I hear someone singing. And Malini says, it's melodious, isn't it? Come on, uncle, let's go in. So your dialogue must end like that, students. Yes, please have a good ending there. And in the dialogue, can you see even the other things that I told you about? Yeah, you can see the short forms. Isn't is a short form. Let's is a short form. Isn't is a short form for what words, students? Is, not. Isn't is not. Let's is a short form for let us. You know that already. Here, isn't it? It's melodious, isn't it? Isn't it is a question tag. Very good. What's a question tag? Yes, it's used to reconfirm something. Malini says, it's melodious, isn't it? So she's asking for reconfirmation. It's not a question, it's called a question tag. Now here in this dialogue, you have some more words which can be made short forms. See, what are you doing here? I told you before, children, what are can be written as or spoken as water. What apostrophe re. What are you doing here? So we don't normally say what are you doing here. We say what are you doing here. So similarly here you can see one more short form is used. Have come. So I and have. The words I and have have been joined to make it have. That's a short form. Have come. So this is how you write a dialogue. You have short forms, you have question tags, you have discourse markers. So here in this sentence, really can be called a discourse marker. So Malini can't believe it that it's just 10 years ago that this temple was built. So she says, really? So there really becomes a discourse marker. Do you understand that, students? Any word can be a discourse marker when that word is trying to show your emotion. So that's when it's called a discourse marker. So you can also see that this dialogue had a greeting, a main content and an ending, and it had all the other features of the dialogue. Did you understand how to write a dialogue? Yes, students. Now after this I am going to be giving you an assignment. Now Malini and uncle are getting into the temple. So now you have an assignment. Since today is a writing class, students, I hope you've copied down some points. Please take down this assignment and I want you to do this and show it to your teacher tomorrow. So what's the assignment? So you have to imagine you are at the market with your mother. Okay? What happens at the market? You meet your friend there. So in the market you meet your friend. How would your dialogue start? Very good. You greet your friend first. You greet your friend. So that's the greeting. And then you talk to your friend. What do you say to your friend? Oh, what are you doing here? Have you come to buy some vegetables? Yeah, I'm here with my mother. I'm helping her. Something like that. That will be your main content. And then it must have a proper ending. After you finish talking, you must say, bye, see you tomorrow. Of course you say that. You do it in your everyday life, you do it, students. But when you write it, you will actually know the different parts of the dialogue. So normally when we talk, all these parts of the dialogue are there and all these short forms and everything, because I want you to write it in English. So now I'm just telling you again and again. Okay? You must write the dialogue, show the different parts of the dialogue, show the question tags, the short forms, everything. Do everything neatly and come and show it to your teacher tomorrow. Will you do it, students? Yeah? Okay, that's nice. So now that we have seen a dialogue, all these dialogues were between two people, right? The first dialogue was between Chang and Lee. The second dialogue was between Shalini and Rekha. And the third dialogue was between Uncle and Malini. Very good. So now I told you at the beginning of the class that it doesn't have to be in between two people. A dialogue can be between many people also. So now let's look at a different kind of dialogue, shall we? Let's see what a discussion is. When there's a group of people talking together, the dialogue is called a discussion or a conversation. What is talking together here, students? Talking together doesn't mean that everybody is talking at the same time. It means talking to one another. In a big group, when people are talking to one another, that dialogue is called a discussion or a conversation. Usually a discussion has one topic, right? You all have a discussion in class, no? Yes, you all talk about one particular topic at a time. So that becomes a discussion. Now you had the Deepavali festival, no? All these 3 days, previous 3 days you had Deepavali at home. You celebrated the festival. So what did you discuss at home? Yeah, your parents and you discussed, no? What to cook, what sweet to make at home, how many crackers to buy, what kind of clothes to buy, what gifts to buy. Didn't you discuss that at home? So when all of you sat together and talked about it, it was called a discussion. That is also a dialogue. But because many people are there, many people are talking to one another, it's called a discussion. So what happens in a discussion? In a discussion, each person is allowed to present his or her ideas or opinions. Everybody is given a turn to speak in a discussion. Each person is allowed to present or to give his or her ideas or opinions. So, keeping that in mind, let's look at the next dialogue. I'll call it a dialogue, but it's actually a discussion because it's going to happen in a classroom. Can you see it on screen, students? Yeah, can you see the classroom? Right. What do you see in the classroom? How many students are there? Yes, there are many students sitting in the classroom. Can you see the teacher? Where is the teacher standing? Yeah, the teacher is standing near the blackboard. What subject do you think she is teaching, students? Yeah, you can see something written on the blackboard. So she is going to teach English. What do you see to one side of the blackboard? Right, you can see the map, the India map there. What is there on the other side of the blackboard? That's a calendar. Very good. That's a calendar. Pages are fluttering. Right? So this is the scene inside the classroom. Now we'll see what discussion happens inside the classroom. So the teacher starts the discussion. What does she say? Students, let's have a discussion on the importance of English. I'd like all of you to give me your opinion about it. So just now I told you, a discussion normally happens about a particular topic. There is one topic which everybody is talking about. So what's the topic here? Very good, students. The topic is the importance of English. So that's the main topic of the discussion. What is the teacher saying? I'd like all of you to give me your opinion about it. So she wants all the students to give their opinion. Let's see what happens next. Yes, students. Yeah, what happens next? Yeah, the students start talking. Rani is there. There's a student called Rani. Yes. What does she say? She says, Ma'am, I think English is very necessary for all of us. So Rani is giving her opinion. Right. Yeah. So now in this discussion, Rani is giving her opinion. What is she saying? She says, I think English is very necessary for all of us. Don't you agree, students? Don't you think English is very necessary for all of us? Yeah, I see some hands raising. Some students are agreeing with it and some students don't agree. Let's see. Now Rani says, I think English is very necessary for all of us. What happens next? What is Deepak saying? No, ma'am, I disagree. English is needed, but not absolutely necessary. We can express our feelings freely in our mother tongue. So Deepak is not agreeing with Rani. I told you in a discussion, everybody is allowed to give his or her opinion. So Deepak says, no, I disagree. I don't agree with Rani. English is needed, but not absolutely necessary. We can express our feelings freely in our mother tongue. What happens next? Rani says, of course, yes, that's true. But we need English, ma'am. How will we survive outside our home state if we don't know English? So that's what Rani says. How will we survive outside our home state if we don't know English? Now we know we speak in Kannada, we are inside Karnataka. Once we go outside Karnataka or outside India, you all know, students, English is a universal language. You must know a common language that you can speak in outside your home state. So that's what Rani is saying. How will we survive? How will we manage outside our home state if we don't know English? So then Rohit says, ma'am, can I say something? Yes, Rohit, what is it? So Rohit says, I think English is a window to knowledge. So Rohit is saying, I think English is a window to knowledge. What does that mean, students? A window to knowledge. Very good. When you know English, it opens your mind to so many other things throughout the world. Don't you agree? Yes. Now, when you look at books or when you go to the internet, most of it is in English, students. So, Rohit says, I think English is a window to knowledge. So, Rani says, that's what I'm trying to say, ma'am. I think English is very much needed. So, Rani is very firm on that. And so, now this teacher says, thank you, students, for your participation. So, now she is ending the discussion. She says, thank you, students, for your participation. So, all discussions must end with a conclusion. Normally, every time you have a discussion, you reach a conclusion. You make a decision at the end of the discussion, don't you? Yes, students. So, this discussion also ends with a conclusion. The teacher is controlling the discussion here, right? So, everywhere, wherever there is a discussion, there is one person who controls the discussion. In this situation, in the classroom, who is controlling the discussion, students? Right, the teacher. The teacher controls the discussion. And now she is going to end it. How is she going to end it? Yes, she ends it by saying, thank you, students, for your participation. Let me give a conclusion to that discussion, students. We all agree that English is necessary for all of us, in addition to our mother tongue. Of course, we need to know our mother tongue, we need to know the regional language, all that is very important. In addition to that, we also need English. It is very necessary for all of us. So did you enjoy this discussion? Did you understand how the discussion was done? Yeah, students. So far you saw these dialogues and discussions, you heard me talking, you also spoke so much. What happens when we speak, students? When we speak, yeah, we are making sounds. You know that. In every language, whatever language you speak in, you are making different sounds. Yes, even in English when we speak, each word has its sound. You know that. A consonant sound, a vowel sound, different sounds are there. Right? So now in your 10th standard, you have learnt or you will be learning something called syllables. Right, students? These are word sounds. You must know about syllables because you will be able to speak properly. You will be able to pronounce all your words correctly. That's the first thing. And secondly, in your 10th standard exam, you also have a question on syllables. You will be given a few words and you will be asked to tell how many syllables are there in each word. So let me talk to you a little about syllables. Okay? Before I actually start about syllables, I have a small passage here for you. I'll read the passage. You please listen to me carefully. Then I'll tell you why some words are highlighted. Okay? Shall I start the passage? Okay. Tenali Rama was a famous jester in the court of King Krishnadeva Raya. He was a witty and intelligent person. He was always admired by the king, and the king always took his opinion before making a decision in state matters. This resulted in Tenali Rama making many enemies. Everybody wanted to show the king that Tenali Rama was not as intelligent as he looked. Very simple passage, students. Shall I read it out for you once again? Listen carefully. Tenali Ramakrishna was a famous jester in the court of King Krishnadeva Raya. You know what a jester is? A jester means somebody who is always, cracking some jokes, making fun, keeping the atmosphere light. So Tenali Ramakrishna was a famous jester in the court of King Krishnadeva Raya. He was a witty and intelligent person. Witty means humorous, who could make fun. He was a witty and intelligent person. He was always admired by the king, and the king always took his opinion before making a decision in state matters. So the king always asked for Tenali Rama's opinion before deciding something about the state. This resulted in Tenali Rama making many enemies. So because the king always asked for Tenali Rama's opinions, Tenali Rama made a lot of enemies. A lot of people became his enemies. This resulted in Tenali Rama making many enemies. Everybody wanted to show the king that Tenali Rama was not as intelligent as he looked. Okay, so you've understood this. Here in today's class, this passage is not important, students. You can see I've highlighted some words. Some words are in red. Can you see? Okay, now I'm going to read these words and you are going to repeat after me. Will you do that? Ready? Yeah, let's forget about the passage now. Look at the words in red. Famous. Repeat it, students. Famous. Jester. Jester. Court. Witty. Intelligent. Always. Admired. King. Took. Opinion. Before. Decision. State. Resulted. Many. Enemies. Everybody. Show. not, looked. So did you repeat all the words? Very good. Now did you see some words have one sound, some words have two sounds, some words have more than that. So here let's look at the first word here, famous. Can you see the word famous here? Yeah, look at that word, children. Famous. Now you can see I have put a dot here. Dot mus. So in this word the first sound is fe and the second sound is mus. So now this dot here shows us where the word is broken into its syllables. Here fe becomes a syllable and mus becomes another syllable. Okay. So what are the two syllables in famous? Fe and mus. So famous is a word with two syllables. Did you understand that? Similarly, look at the word jester. Jester, two syllables. But look at the word king. King is just one syllable. The word court, one syllable. But look at the word resulted. Can you tell me how many syllables it has? Very good. Resulted, three syllables. Show has single syllable. So did you understand that now, students? So every word has syllables. Here I have just picked up a few words to show you how many syllables they have. So let's look at the what a syllable is. Yeah. So now what is a syllable? A syllable is a word or a part of a word with a vowel sound. Normally all syllables have a vowel sound. There are some words without vowel sound, students, but let's not worry about that now. Okay. So I have a few simple words here for you. Let's read it again, about, ago, simply. Shall we read it once again? Please repeat after me, students. Again, about, ago, simply. So here the word is written as again. Here the word is, here it is, and here it is simply. But the dot that you see here shows you where the syllable, the sound changes. So you can see the word again is divided into two syllables, and again. The word about, but we don't say about. While pronouncing it, we say about, again, simply. But you must know that simply is a word with two syllables. Again is a word with two syllables. So as you keep practicing, students, you will learn all this. Now look at this. This is a page in a dictionary. A good dictionary will be able to tell you this. Look at the word forgiveness. Forgiveness. Or look at the next word, forgiving. See how it's marked in the dictionary, students. A dot for each syllable. Okay, that was just to show you how a good dictionary shows you syllabification. Now, let's look at some words from the passage. You remember these words in the passage, Tenali Rama, okay? So what are the words here? Famous, jester, king, admired, decision, intelligent. Now I have broken these words into its syllables. But now students, please take your pen and your book, write down these words now. Okay, I'll tell you what to do with the words. Write down these words, students. Famous. See, you write it down. Famous. Think the syllable will break. Same way, jester. Where will the break be? Yes, jester. And so on. Okay? Show it to your teacher, students. This is important. Your exam, you will be asked to count the number of syllables. Very good. So today's class you learnt about, and you learnt what a discussion is and how to in a word. Did you understand everything? Did you enjoy the class, students? Now your class on 14th, that is tomorrow. You have the class between 11:45 and 12:25. This is a science class, children. Thank you, students. Have a good day.